What is going on, my beautiful Raspy Riders? Today we are working with the Engwe Engine Pro 2.0. This is a foldable full suspension e-bike, and in my opinion it's one of the best foldable bikes you can buy for under $1,200. It is almost perfect, almost, but I'll explain why after we jump to the unboxing. Okay, we got a lot going on here. It looks like it's very well packaged. There's a ton of styrofoam. Let's first pull out this box. What is this? I see two boxes in here actually. Oh, what could they be? Okay, so it looks like in this box we have the pedals, some bolt covers, and some screws, and some tools, and the axle. And then we have charger. This charger pushes out 2.5 amps. So since our battery is 16 amp hours, it should take us about 6.5 hours from 0 to fully charged. Let's see what's inside the other box. Okay, looks like we got the stem adapter. I think that's what these are called. Now let's get a side profile view of this bike. And this is what it looks like from the side. Look at all that styrofoam. This is definitely one of the better packaged bikes I've seen. Jeez, it looks like snow in there. Ooh, that blue. Look at that blue, it's so nice. It's almost like a matte blue, but at the same time, there's a little bit of shine to it. The website calls this color midnight blue. It looks like a satin blue to me. It's so nice. The bike is finally set up, and it is looking good. The bike is still charging, but look what I just discovered. In our box of goodies, they actually give you spare brake pads. That is pretty cool. I've never seen a company give you extra brake pads before. That is a really nice gesture. So points to Engwe for that. Now that the unboxing is done, let's go over some of the specs. I gotta say, it's a pretty good looking bike. I really like the satin blue. There's a nice shimmer to it, and it makes the branding pop out. Alright, so as usual, let's get started with the front. For our tires, we got some 20x4 Chow Yang fat tires. And these tires are sitting on some mag wheels. I love me some mag wheels because you don't gotta deal with spokes. Over here we have 160mm rotors front and back, paired with hydraulic brakes. I don't see a branding on the brakes. They're probably just Engwe's brand. Coming on up, we do have blue metal fenders. They feel nice and sturdy. And a light with a reflector. We do have a suspension fork. It is adjustable. There's a lockout feature on this side and a preload knob over here. This is a foldable stem, so if you're trying to fold up the bike and store it away or put it in your trunk, you can fold down your handlebars so it'll take up less space. Moving on to our cockpit, we have some nice ergonomical grips that do lock in place. They feel really good in your hands. We got a thumb throttle, and surprisingly, it's on the left side. Usually I see our throttle on the right. This is our hydraulic brake lever. They feel solid. And here's our toggle switch to turn on the bike and jump through our speeds. This is my own personal phone holder. We got a pretty large display. Let's turn it on. It is colored and it looks pretty nice. Over here on the right side, we have an 8-speed Shimano shifter. It is nice seeing something a little different than the 7-speed we usually see. Moving to the middle of the frame, we got the logo Engwe and a latch on the other side to fold your bike in half. Inside the frame, we have a 52 volt 16 amp hour pack. You can remove it, but you do have to fold up the bike to be able to pull it out. On this side, we have a controller and it puts out 22 amps. Below that, we have our rear suspension. On it, it says 1,000 pounds. That's crazy. I'm only 170 pounds, but I do feel the suspension working. It actually feels pretty good to me. I love that this suspension is right next to the pivot point of the bike. Sometimes bikes will have dual suspension and it's closer to the rear, but you don't really feel that too much. It makes for a really stiff ride. I would rather have one shock that's really close to the pivot point. Even though this is a 1,000-pound shock, it does move. We got a medium-sized chainring, and I don't notice any ghost pedaling, so it is the perfect size for this bike. And I gotta say, the seat they gave us is really comfortable. Look how much cushion is in here. And there's springs underneath it. It almost feels like this bike has triple suspension. Front, rear, and the seat. Moving our way to the back, we have a derailleur guard and a Shimano Altus derailleur. And behind our derailleur, we are running a 750 watt hub motor. Online, it says it peaks at 1200, but if you take the controller amps, which is 22 times a full charge, which is 58 volts, it says 1276. Coming on up, we have a rack that is super beefy. I've seen and used a lot of racks because I do food delivery, but I gotta say this is probably the most beefy one I've seen. This thing is thick. And at the very end of our bike, we do have a tail light that functions as a brake light. Okay, now that we've gone over the specs, let's go take this baby out for a ride. In order to turn on the bike, we gotta turn on the ignition right here, and then hold our power button on the toggle switch. Bam, and we're ready to go. Okay, we are on the Engwe Engine Pro 2.0. If I had to only pick two words to describe this bike, I would pick comfortable and smooth. It's comfortable because of the dual suspension and the seat. And it's smooth because it's a torque sensor. This is the first torque sensor I've ever been on. It's a whole new feeling from our usual cadence sensor. Oh yeah, when you go up driveways or you hit bumps, man, the suspension feels so good. There's another dip right here. Woo! Eats up bumps like nothing. Let's go down to pedal assist number 1 and see what our speed is on throttle only. Oh, it picks up. Oh, it's going all the way. It's showing 20 miles per hour. Okay, so it looks like the pedal assist does not correlate with the throttle speeds. We have full access to 20 miles per hour at all times. Okay, let's see what our top speed is with pedal assist using a torque sensor on mode 1. We're climbing 20 miles per hour. 22, 23. Okay, so I've come to the conclusion that on level 1, we probably could get to the top speed of 28 miles per hour, but we would have to put in a lot of work. Let's see what happens when we go to level 2. Oh yeah, it picks up speed so much easier. Okay, we're at 16 miles per hour. I push on the cranks a little harder. 17. Okay, yeah, it climbs a lot easier than level 1. Level 3. Keeping the rhythm the same, the speed is also the same. See if we go to number 4. Yep, same thing. Number 5. Okay, so the way I think the torque sensor works is when you move up the levels, it makes the top speed more easily reachable. Let's test it out right now. Okay, level 5. And we're pedaling. Oh, 27, it cut me off. So we hit 27.5 on the display, and I felt the motor just cut me off right there. So this is legitimately your legal class 3 e-bike. Man, the feeling you get on a torque sensor is so different. It feels like the bike is listening to me and my legs. It interprets my input and how hard I'm pushing down, and it changes based off how hard I push the cranks. If you want a bike that still feels like a regular e-bike, then this might be for you. You'll never get in trouble with it because it's fully legal. It's class 3. I really wish that they gave you the option to unlock this bike to off-road mode. I just want it so that the throttle can hit 28 miles per hour. We're gonna head to the mall so we can do our brake test. Man, when you put power down with your legs, this thing listens to you. It just wants to go. Alright, I gotta admit, the suspension on this bike feels better than my Anioki. And I actually put aftermarket motorcycle suspension on that one. If I were to use this bike to deliver food, nothing would be bouncing around. No drinks spilled. Alright, we are at our designated brake testing spot. So the goal is to try to get up to speed to around 25 miles per hour. And as soon as we cross this pylon, we hit the brakes and see how many spaces it takes to come to a complete stop. I feel like on average, we usually stop around 5 to 6, but these brakes do feel really solid and they're hydraulic. So let's see. Let's see. I keep trying to find the thumb throttle on my right side, and I forget that it's on the left. Well, here we go, here we go. It's 20 miles per hour. 25, and brake. Okay, let's see. We locked up the tires a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We landed in the 5th parking space. Okay, now I'm curious. Maybe we can do a little bit better. Let's try that again. Trial number 2. 23, 24, 25, and brake. Oh. Whoa! Holy crap! 1, 2, 3, 4. We landed in the 4th space. It's barely touching the line going into the 5th. It's not even crossing over yet. That's 4 parking spaces. That's probably the best I've ever stopped with any bike that I've ever tried. 4 parking spaces? That is awesome. And I'm willing to bet that if you put on some street tires to where there's no knobbies, then you would have even more grip and be able to stop even better. Because then you have more rubber on the ground. Ooh, speed bump test. I'm not even gonna stand up on the pedals. That was so comfortable. Like, you feel the speed bump, but it's not even bad at all. Usually I have to stand up. I want to go over some more speed bumps now. Let's see if we can go up this little curb. Oh, we went up the curb. The suspension is so good. I mean, it's not like your bikes that are gonna be worth $5,000, but for a bike that's under $1,200, this is probably the best suspension I've felt. It's even better than the suspension I felt on bikes that are like $2,000-$3,000. I'm gonna go back to the park so I can go ride on the grass because this suspension is too fun. Honestly, I think this bike is gonna be really nice for someone that wants an e-bike, but they still want to pedal. Some people really enjoy pedaling. It's therapeutic. Other people just want to throttle all day. There's times when I want to do both. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this bike does come with a horn. It sounds more like a beep. All right, let's go hit up some grass. See how it performs off-road. Huh, I don't even have to stand up on the pedals. It takes all the bumps. Okay, this light is gonna be enough to make other cyclists, pedestrians, and cars see you, but it's not gonna light up the night. I'm wondering if you guys can see right now. You know how sometimes if you hit a bump or a dip, you can feel it in your spine or even your gooch? Yeah, this thing does not hurt at all. My spine is fine, and my gooch. This bike actually uses the same shock as the Engwe M20, but for some reason, this one feels more comfortable. I think it's because it's closer to the pivot point. More off-road, yeah. Okay, let's go off this curb. This is a pretty high curb. Wasn't even that bad. Wasn't even that bad. On my other bikes, that one would have hurt. All right, it's getting a little too dark. I think I gotta end it. I don't even know if you guys can see me right now. I apologize that it's gotten so dark. I did not mean for this review to be at night. But you know what? Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles, and we just gotta make do. But let's wrap this video up and talk about the pros and cons. Let's start with the cons like usual. There's only one con in my book. I really want that throttle to be able to take me to 28 miles per hour. For some of you, that's not a big deal. For me, I ride with the cars all the time, and having access to a little bit of higher speeds in the city makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. At least I can access 28 miles per hour with the torque sensor when I pedal. Some bikes you can't even do that. But that's pretty much it. I don't think there's any other cons. Maybe the light could be a little bit brighter. Yeah, it's kind of pinpointed and it's not crazy bright. I mean, it's kind of pinpointed in one location. So at least you'll see your bike lane or the sidewalk. I wish it spread out a little bit more. Let's move on to the pros. There's so many pros with this bike. If I were to say everything, it would be me talking about this entire bike. I'm gonna choose three though. I'm gonna choose three pros that really stand out to me. The first one is the suspension. Yeah, the suspension is not gonna be like a Suron or a $5,000 mountain bike or a dirt bike, but this thing feels really good. It really surprised me because that shock is 1,000 pounds, but it still absorbed all the bumps I took it through. I went off the curb, I hit speed bumps, I went off curbs, I hit dips. This thing feels great. It's probably a combination of the shock being close to the pivot point, the cushy seat, and the springs underneath it, and the front suspension. Pro number two, this bike has a torque sensor opposed to a cadence sensor. Cadence sensors usually feel like an on and off switch when you start pedaling. This one feels like it reads your body. The harder you push, the more power it gives you. It's super intuitive. I can see why people love torque sensors now. It's a completely different feeling that you won't understand until you try one. Pro number three, the brakes are amazing. They stop on a dime. Compared to all my other bikes that I've tested using that same exact brake testing location, this one has stopped the best. It is at the top of the list right now. It's probably ranked number one on my bikes for stopping power. You will never have to upgrade the brakes. And the crazy thing is that they even give you extra brake pads. No other company has ever done that. That is a huge bonus in my opinion, because whatever they're doing with their brakes and their brake pads is working, and I want more of it. I wish other bikes stopped as well as this one. Oh, you can see it's getting misty. My seat is getting all shiny. If you guys are interested in this bike, the link will be in the description. The good news is that right now, Engwe is having a big sale on the Engine Pro 2. The crazy news is that I also have a code for you guys that will give you $300 off. It is currently listed as $1,149. So if you take that price and you subtract $300, that'll be $849. What the heck? This good of a bike for under $1,000? That's insane. That is crazy. $300 off? That is pretty awesome. I don't know any other bike that will give you a torque sensor for less than $1,000. If you guys do, let me know, because I currently don't. Thank you guys for watching and making it to the very end. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Please give this video a thumbs up and a like. Subscribe if you want, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.